All right, shalom. I want to start off by giving all praises to Yahweh B'Shem Yahushai, double honors to the elders, and shalom to you brothers out there pushing this word in truth and sincerity, to the elect. Today's going to be another Bible word search lesson, and getting into these words and looking up different words to help edify us and get a deeper understanding when we read the scriptures. And today's word, I was going through, I was reading in the New Testament in the book of Luke about a day or two ago, and I was going into Luke the 14th chapter, and this is basically what I was reading about was the parable that the Lord had brought forth about sending his servants out to bring in the guests for the dinner or for the feast that the Lord or the master of the house had made ready. And then you had certain men that had made excuse. They had made an excuse to not come to the master's feast. So the master of the feast, the Lord had told his servants to go out and bring in other men and other guests to come to the feast and sup with them. And as I was going through this parable, something that stuck out to me, a word, that I wanted to get a better understanding on. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to read some of this parable, and I'm going to go down to the verse. Alright. Start at Luke. Luke chapter 14, verse 16. It says, "Then said he unto him, A certain man made a great supper, and bade many, and sent his servant at supper time to say to them that were bidden, Come, for all things are now ready. And they all with one consent began to make excuse. The first said unto him, I have bought a piece of ground, and I must needs go and see it. I pray thee, have me excused." Verse 19. And another said, I have bought 5 yoke of oxen, and I go to prove them. I pray thee, have me excused. And another said, I have married a wife, and therefore I cannot come. So this parable is basically, when you break it down, it's really talking about this truth. It's talking about how the Lord is calling out through the words of the Holy Bible for us, for his prophets to go out and teach the word, his servants to go out to the streets and teach the word. And you have some guys and some men that make excuse. Like you got this guy, 14th Street Israelite, this 14th Street homo. He don't go out on a weekly basis, season in and season out. He makes excuse about it being too cold or too hot or whatever, and he makes an excuse. All right, and the elders always bringing about how you got certain guys that take breaks and they go out, when they want to go out, but then they'll have it to where they may be in the studio for the rest of the time being or whatever. And that's not what the Lord had us out there doing, or that's not what he commanded us to go out there and do. So I'm going to continue to go through the parable. All right, this is verse 21. It says, So that servant came and showed his Lord these things. Then the master of the house, being angry, said to his servant, Go out quickly into the streets, right, and lanes of the city, and bring in hither the poor and the maimed and the halt and the blind. And that's talking about the nation of Israel. because our nation are the poor. Some of us are maimed, some of us are halt, and until we come into the truth, we're really blind. All right. Verse 22. And the servant said, Lord, it is done as thou hast commanded, and yet there is room. Verse 23. And the Lord said unto the servant, Go out into the highways and hedges, and compel them to come in, that my house may be filled. All right. So the Lord said to go out into the highways, go out to the hedges, go out into the highways and the byways, and teach His word. All right. Now, part of that teaching the word goes into how we teach, how we speak, and what we're supposed to be talking about. Now, the main word that I want to focus on today is the word compel in this verse. All right? Because the Lord said, and compel them to come in, that my house may be filled. So I had looked up this word compel. All right? So I'm going to go into the word. And the word is anankazo. Anankazo. All right, anankazo. And it means to necessitate, compel, drive to, constrain, by force, threats, etc., by permission, entreaties, etc., by other means. So when we go out to the highways and hedges to compel people to come into the truth, we most of the time do it by force. Not that we physically grab you and beat you up if you don't listen to the word, but we come in a powerful spirit when we're speaking. All right, which that goes back to Isaiah 28:11, where it says the prophets are going to speak with stammering lips and in another tongue. And stammering means to be basically be rude, to be rude, to be rough speaking. All right. So I had went and looked up this word compel in the dictionary. All right, the freedictionary.com. Okay, and the word compel, it means to force, to drive, constrain, like we read in the blue letter, to necessitate or pressure by force, exact, to exert a strong, irresistible force on, to sway. All right. So that's what that word means, man. And then let's see. See if I can find it, because that looking this word up actually led me to another word. All right. Try to see if I can find it. Bear with me for 1 second. All right. And you know what? Sometimes when you read the scriptures, the prophets did use actual force to get Israel to listen to the word. All right. See if I can find it here. I'm not able to get it. All right. Well, sometimes we did use force to the prophets did use force. All right, and I'm gonna prove that. Okay, because like the word compel means. It means to constrain people, to force them. All right. All right. Now this is the book of Nehemiah, chapter 13. I'm gonna start at verse 23. It says, "In those days also saw I," he's talking about Nehemiah, "Jews that had married wives of Ashdod, of Ammon, and of Moab. And their children spake half in the speech of Ashdod, and could not speak the Jews' language, but according to the language of each people." Verse 25. "And I contended with them, and cursed them." All right? Now, isn't that not what we do when we go out into the streets to teach this word? We contend with certain people. We curse certain people. All right? And smote certain of them. So that's part of using force. So that's part of compelling people when we go out there in the highways and byways, because there's certain times when brothers get into fights, man. All right? Starting with the elders on down. There's lots of brothers which we don't go out there to get into any fights, but sometimes it happens. Sometimes you get into a heated argument and it actually comes to blows, and that happened with the prophets going all the way back to the ancient world. Right? So this is what Nehemiah said. This is an example, right, of compelling the Israelites to come back to their heritage, because Nehemiah was vexed that you had our people mingling with the heathen. All right. It says, "And I contended with them, and cursed them, and smote certain of them, and plucked off their hair, and made them swear by the Most High, saying, Ye shall not give your daughters unto their sons, and take their daughters unto your sons, or for yourselves." And that's in the law. So Nehemiah was contending with these Israelites for the law, man, for the law of Yahweh B'Shem Yahushua. And he was compelling them, forcing them, driving them. He plucked off their hair. He was beating them up, smote them, All right, and he was cursing them out. And then in verse 26 it says, "Did not Solomon king of Israel sin by these things? Yet among many nations was there no king like him, who was beloved of his power. And the Most High made him king over all Israel. Nevertheless, even him did outlandish women cause to sin." So basically, Nehemiah was contending with these Israelites because these women of these other nations were causing the Israelite men to, follow their gods, to make them sin. Verse 27, "Shall we then hearken unto you to do all this great evil, to transgress against our power in marrying strange wives?" All right? So that's part of the prophets compelling to come in, compelling Israel to come back to the Heavenly Father. All right? Okay, here we go. All right. So going back to Luke 14 and what verse is this? Luke 14 and 23. All right, I looked up the word compel. Okay, and the word compel, anankazo, meaning to necessitate, compel, drive to, constrain by force, like Nehemiah, threats, etc. Right? So that's what I did. I looked up the word threats. Okay, or the word threaten, and it means to express a threat against, to be a source of danger to, menace, to give signs of warning of, portend, to announce the possibility of a threat. Now, when you read, I believe it's Ezekiel the 17th chapter, the Lord said to go out to Israel, and give them warning from me, from Yahweh B'Shem Yahushua, of the evil to come. So another part of us going out to compel them to come in is we give them warning. Okay? We give them warning. Alright? So I looked up that word portend as well. Okay? And the word portend means to serve as an omen or a warning of, presage, to indicate by prediction, forecast. Another word for that is prophesy. So prophecy and prophesying is a part of compelling Israel to come in. Threatening them is a part of compelling Israel to come in. Okay? To speak harshly, to speak roughly, with stammering lips, that's a part of compelling Israel to come back to the Heavenly Father. Alright? See, this truth is deep, man, and you really get a true understanding when you get into these words. You know? And that's pretty much all I had. Alright, so going back to Luke 14 and 23, once again, I'll read it. It says, and the Lord said unto the servant, go out into the highways and hedges, right? Being out on the highways and byways, on these different street corners all over the world, all over the country. It says, and compel them to come in. How do you compel somebody to come in? Alright. It says, by force, by threats, okay, etc., by permission, entreaty, by other means, but mainly by force or threats. And like I said, when you look up the word threats, alright, matter of fact, okay, you look at the word threats, alright, this is the word, let's see, it's going to pop up, threats. An expression of an intention to inflict pain, injury, evil, or punishment. Alright? Not by ourselves, neither. We're not talking about, we're not there saying, we're coming out our own heart, we're going to fight you or do nothing like that. We're telling you what the Heavenly Father said He's going to do. An indication of impending danger or harm, one that is regarded as a possible danger, a menace, to threaten. Alright? And then when you look up the word threaten, look at the word threaten, okay? Alright? And it says here, to give signs or warning of, portend. Like I said, I looked at the word portend, and it means to serve as an omen or a warning of, to indicate by prediction, forecast, which also means to prophesy, to tell you what's going to happen before it happens, whether it be evil or good. Alright? So with that, I'm ending it there. I'm going to give all praises to Yahweh by Hashem Yahweh Shai, double honors to the elders, and shalom to you brothers out there pushing this word of sincerity and faith. And I hope you brothers were edified and learned something. And so with that, I'm going to say shalom.